This is a listing presentation that we did for one of our RE/MAX clients. This listing presentation is 40 pages in length, takes about 20 minutes to go through with a seller. This listing presentation is done in PowerPoint, and the background colors are done in Photoshop, and we give you both PowerPoint and Photoshop files when you invest into this listing presentation. Also, the listing presentation comes with content that is already on the presentation, and all the content is editable inside of PowerPoint. All you do is click on the content to make whatever edits you would like to make. Also, you can drop in your name, in your company name, in your contact information easily since it's a PowerPoint file format. Now let me walk you through some of the pages of the listing presentation. The first one is our game plan for success. What we do on this page of the presentation is explain to the seller how we are going to proceed on the listing appointment, and we do so through two sections. By explaining this to the seller is more comfortable and more at ease with respect to what you are going to do when you're sitting with him at the kitchen table. Here's another example of a slide. There are 4 sources to uncover a buyer. So what we do with this slide of the presentation is explain to the seller each one of these 4 buyer groups and what you do to make sure at least one of these people within the 4 buyer groups buys your seller's home. Next, we have another slide. This slide references the MLS hot sheets. Now, we know most agents are not aware of how to use the hot sheets when on a listing appointment. The reason you use a hot sheet is to prove to the seller that you do indeed have a list of buyers. And so what we do is that when you make an investment into this listing presentation, you will also receive with that investment a 45-minute training video that will show you how to produce a list of buyers for every single listing appointment that you go on. And not only will it show you how to produce a list, but also how to produce photographs as evidence that you supply to the seller so that the seller knows that you are indeed an extraordinary agent and a buyer expert. Now that's what we do with that slide of the presentation. Let's show you another slide. This slide would outline the marketing plan for the home, which is separate from the buying plan for the home. So in this particular slide, it's an overview of the 12 points that you're about to discuss with the seller within the marketing plan. Now here's another example. These are examples of slides within the marketing plan. This particular slide informs the seller that the seller has competition, that the average buyer takes a look at 11 homes before deciding to buy one. This means that your seller is competing with 10 other homes, and that the winner will be the home that is best staged, best priced, etc., so that the buyer wants to buy that home. Next, we have 21 staging tips for a top dollar sale. We're going to share with the seller that we have the expertise to make sure his home is in showroom shine so that every possible advantage is given to the seller. So it positions you as an expert when it comes to staging. Here's another example of one of the reasons within the slide, point number 6, which is the small internet, which is the smartphone, the yard sign access through the smartphone, and online advertising is discussed. Here's another reason within the marketing plan, the 5 buyer types, what those buyer types are, and the only kind of buyer that we're really looking for, which is point number 5, a pre-approved serious qualified buyer. Next, we have a discussion on how pricing is determined, and so we walk the seller through a CMA, the theory of a CMA, so that we reach agreement with the seller that a CMA is the proper way to go to reach a decision concerning the price of the listing. And here we also explain unique selling point, how price impacts excitement in the number of showings to expect. So we completely inform the seller not only of price but of showability, etc., competition, so that the seller is fully informed when it comes to making a decision on how to price the property. Now, this is the listing presentation that you can invest into. It's at listingpresentationforagents.com. Once again, it's a powerful listing presentation, and we invite you to take a look at this listing presentation at listingpresentationforagents.com.